Karen grabbed my 12-year-old daughter by the wrist and yanked her away from the piano, claiming she was playing too loudly. But when I stepped outside and identified myself as a retired FBI special agent, she suddenly realized she had just committed assault and battery on a child in front of someone trained in witness interviews, evidence preservation, and criminal documentation. My name is Nathan, and I am a retired FBI special agent. I spent 26 years investigating violent crimes, child exploitation cases, and assault offenses before retiring 3 years ago. I know how to identify assault, document physical injuries, recognize when someone poses a danger to children, and build cases that lead to prosecution. What Karen didn't know when she put her hands on my daughter was that she had just committed a criminal act in front of someone whose entire career was devoted to protecting children and holding offenders accountable. I live in a quiet subdivision called Willow Creek in Boise, Idaho. My family and I moved here after my retirement, looking for a peaceful community where my wife, Rachel, and I could raise our 2 daughters, Emma, who is 12, and Sophie, who is 9. The neighborhood is family-oriented, with good schools and children frequently playing outside. The HOA handles basic services and generally stays out of residents' daily lives. For 3 years, we had no issues with anyone. My daughter Emma is a gifted pianist. She has been taking lessons since she was 6 years old and practices every day. We have an upright piano in our living room positioned near the front window. Emma practices for about an hour each afternoon after school, usually between 4 and 5 p.m. The piano is not excessively loud. It is an acoustic instrument inside our home, with the windows typically closed. You can faintly hear from outside if you're standing near our house, but it is not disruptive. That changed 5 months ago, when Karen moved in 2 houses down from us. She had golden blonde hair and immediately made her presence known by complaining about nearly everything. Kids riding bicycles, dogs barking, neighbors washing cars on weekends. She wanted absolute silence and total control over the environment. 3 weeks after she arrived, Emma was practicing piano one afternoon. She was working on a Chopin piece for an upcoming recital, repeating the same passage to perfect the timing. I was in my home office when I heard aggressive knocking on the front door. I opened it to find Karen standing there, visibly irritated. "Your daughter's piano playing is too loud. It's disturbing my peace and quiet. She practices for an hour each afternoon during reasonable daytime hours." I replied, "I don't care. The noise is unacceptable. She needs to stop or use headphones or something. She's preparing for a recital. Acoustic piano practice is a normal residential activity. It's disruptive and inconsiderate. Control your child. My daughter isn't doing anything wrong. Practicing piano in the afternoon is completely reasonable." Karen glared at me. "You will regret not handling this properly," she said before walking away. Over the next 2 weeks, Karen escalated her behavior. She filed noise complaints with the HOA, all dismissed because daytime piano practice is permitted. She contacted Boise Code Enforcement, who confirmed there was no violation. She posted on the neighborhood Facebook page complaining about constant loud music, but multiple neighbors defended Emma and said they actually enjoyed hearing her play. Emma became self-conscious. "Dad, maybe I should practice quieter or stop earlier. I don't want to cause problems." "Absolutely not," I told her. "You have every right to practice piano in your own home during reasonable hours. You are doing nothing wrong. Karen is the one being unreasonable." 3 days ago, everything changed. Emma was practicing piano around 4:30 in the afternoon. Rachel was in the kitchen preparing dinner, and I was in my office reviewing consulting work I occasionally do for law enforcement agencies. Suddenly, I heard Emma cry out, followed by an adult woman yelling. I ran toward the front of the house and looked into the living room. Karen had opened our front door, which we often left unlocked because the neighborhood was safe and the kids were home, and walked inside. She had grabbed Emma's wrist and was pulling her away from the piano. "I told your father to stop this noise. You're coming with me right now to talk to your parents about respecting neighbors," Karen shouted while physically dragging Emma toward the door. Emma was crying and trying to pull away. "Let go of me," she screamed. I rushed into the room with Rachel right behind me. "Get your hands off my daughter right now," I shouted. Karen turned toward me, still gripping Emma's wrist. Your daughter needs to learn. Release her immediately, or you'll be arrested for assault and battery of a minor. I said firmly, I'm not assaulting anyone. I'm just... You enter my home without permission, grab my 12-year-old daughter, and are physically restraining her against her will. That is assault, battery, and potentially kidnapping. Let go of her now. Karen released Emma's wrist. Emma ran to Rachel, crying. I pulled out my phone and began recording. State your name for the record. I'm not stating anything. You need to control your child's noise. I am Nathan Harris, retired FBI Special Agent, badge number 78342. You just committed assault and battery on a minor child in my presence. You enter my home without permission and physically restrain my 12-year-old daughter. Do you understand the seriousness of what you've done? Karen's face drained of color. I may be retired, but I spent 26 years investigating violent crimes and child assault cases. I know exactly what constitutes assault and battery under Idaho law, and I know how to document evidence and build a prosecutable case. You have committed multiple crimes. I didn't hurt her. I was just trying to get her attention. You grabbed her wrist hard enough to leave marks. I looked at Emma's wrist. Clear red marks were already visible where Karen had gripped her. Rachel, take photos of Emma's wrist right now. Multiple angles. Make sure they're time-stamped. Rachel immediately began photographing the marks with her phone. This is ridiculous, Karen said. I was just trying to talk to her about the noise. Entering my home without permission and physically grabbing my child is not talking. It is assault. Emma, did you invite this woman into our house? No, Dad, Emma said through tears. She just opened the door, came in, grabbed me, and started pulling me. Did it hurt when she grabbed your wrist? Yes, it hurt a lot. She squeezed really hard. I looked directly at Karen. You have 3 seconds to leave my property before I call the police and have you arrested immediately. Karen backed away and left quickly, but not before I captured clear video of her face, her departure, and the red marks on Emma's wrist. The moment she was gone, I called the Boise Police Department. This is Nathan Harris, retired FBI Special Agent. I need to report an assault and battery on my 12-year-old daughter and unlawful entry into my home. The dispatcher took the call seriously. 2 officers arrived within 8 minutes. Officer Williams and Officer Chun separated everyone and spoke with us individually. I presented my FBI credentials and explained my professional background investigating child assault and violent crime cases. I showed them the video I recorded immediately after the incident, the photographs of the marks on Emma's wrist, and carefully walked them through exactly what had occurred step by step. Emma gave her statement to Officer Chun, a female officer who was calm, patient, and reassuring. Emma explained that she was practicing piano when Karen entered our home without permission, grabbed her wrist, and began pulling her toward the door while yelling about noise. Rachel confirmed that she heard Emma cry out and saw Karen physically restraining our daughter when she entered the living room. The officers photographed Emma's wrist from multiple angles. The red marks were clearly visible and consistent with forceful gripping. Officer Williams then went to Karen's house to speak with her. I watched from the window as they talked. Karen was gesturing animatedly, clearly attempting to justify her actions. Officer Williams returned to me shortly afterward. Mr. Harris, based on the physical evidence, your daughter's statement, your wife's corroboration, and the video evidence you provided, we have probable cause to arrest Ms. Stevens for assault and battery on a minor and unlawful entry. The marks on your daughter's wrist and her testimony that she was grabbed and physically restrained meet the legal definition of battery under Idaho law. I want to press full charges, I said without hesitation. She entered my home without permission and put her hands on my child. That is completely unacceptable. Understood, Officer Williams replied. We will be making the arrest. Karen was arrested and transported to the Ada County Jail. She was charged with battery against a minor child, unlawful entry, and attempted custodial interference. The latter charge stemming from her attempt to physically remove Emma from our home without parental consent. Emma was understandably shaken by the incident. The following day, we took her to our pediatrician for a full examination. The doctor documented bruising that had developed on her wrist overnight and provided a medical report confirming injuries consistent with forceful gripping. The case progressed quickly. The Ada County Prosecutor's Office treated it seriously due to the involvement of a child victim, unlawful entry, and clear physical evidence. Karen retained an attorney who attempted to argue that she was merely trying to address a noise issue. The prosecutor made it clear that noise complaints do not justify entering someone's home without permission or physically grabbing a child. The evidence was overwhelming: video footage, photographs, medical documentation, witness statements, and my professional background as a former FBI agent who knew exactly how to document, preserve, and present evidence. Karen ultimately accepted a plea agreement. She pleaded guilty to battery against a minor and unlawful entry in exchange for the dismissal of the attempted custodial interference charge. The judge sentenced her to 90 days in jail, suspended to 18 months of supervised probation, mandatory anger management counseling, 200 hours of community service, and a permanent restraining order prohibiting any contact with my family or approach it within 300 feet of our property. She was also ordered to pay for Emma's medical evaluation and any counseling Emma required as a result of the incident. The HOA board removed Karen from consideration for any future board positions and sent a letter to all residents clarifying that entering homes without permission and physically confronting children is completely unacceptable and will result in immediate police involvement. Emma worked with child therapists for 6 weeks to process what had happened. The therapist helped her understand that Karen's behavior was not normal adult conduct and that Emma had done nothing wrong. The therapy was successful. Emma regained her confidence and continued practicing piano. 2 months later, she performed beautifully at her recital, playing the same Chopin piece she had been practicing when Karen attacked her. Karen listed her house for sale immediately after sentencing and moved out within 6 weeks. A young family with 2 small children purchased a home. They have told us several times that they enjoy hearing Emma practice piano. The new neighbors even attended Emma's recital and brought flowers. I still retain all the evidence from that day: the video footage, photographs, medical records, and police reports, securely filed in the event Karen ever violates a restraining order, though I doubt she will. Several parents in the neighborhood have thanked me for taking the incident seriously and pursuing charges. One mother told me her son had been verbally confronted by Karen weeks earlier, but she hadn't known what to do at the time and wished she had reported it. My FBI training taught me that aggressive adults often test boundaries with minor incidents before escalating. Karen's pattern of complaints, her increasing hostility, and ultimately her physical assault on a child were classic escalation indicators. By documenting everything and pursuing criminal charges, I ensured she faced consequences and was removed from the neighborhood before she could harm another child. Emma now practices piano every afternoon, usually around 4:30. The sound of Chopin and Beethoven drifts through Willow Creek, and neighbors frequently mention how much they enjoy it. If you ever witness an adult physically grabbing or assaulting a child, or someone enters your home without permission to confront your family, contact the police immediately and press charges. Share this story with parents who need encouragement to protect their children from aggressive adults. And subscribe for more stories about people who learn that putting your hands on someone else's child carries serious legal consequences. Sometimes, the child you decide to grab belongs to someone trained to make sure you face every possible charge under the